Michael Mike's Bags. Today I'm reviewing the Raven by Fly Cornhole. If you've been with me for a while, if you watched a lot of reviews, you probably remember I reviewed the Raven a while ago. When they first came out with it released, I reviewed it. I actually still have that set. I love this original set. They made some changes, quite a few changes, some very significant changes that it was enough for me to justify doing a new review. It's hard for me to stay on top of bag reviews. Right? If I put a review up, a lot of times back companies will make slight changes, template changes, fill changes, types of fill, amount of fill, sometimes a slight material change, and I have to determine if that change is big enough to justify or warrant a second review. But I say all that to say that when you go looking to buy bags, look at my review. If you watch my review, look at how old it is. If it's more than a few months old, just go check whether you send a message to the company or reach out to someone else. Just check to make sure that bag hasn't changed that much or you know what has changed. Because sometimes I've had people message me before and say, hey, I bought a bag off your review, but it's completely different than what you said. And this is a case where if you watch this review and you went and bought this bag, you're going to be confused. They're not the same. Now, I love this original Raven, as I mentioned, but I understand why Fly made the change. Probably 5% of cornhole people love this original Raven. 95% of you are going to love this new version of the Raven. So let's go ahead and jump into this review of the new updated Ravens. And as always, we'll start with materials. Slow side, this is a hybrid material. It's the same slow side that you find on the Viper R, the Reynolds Thunder, the AR Ripper, Lucky Bags, Pro Sniper Elite, Swag Bags Chaos, Killer Bees Armide. It's a long list of bags. A lot of bags use it. It's probably one of the most, if not the most popular hybrid material. I call it a 5.5 speed. Brand new. It plays a little bit quicker. 6, 5.5, 6. But once it kind of breaks in, it softens up, it fuzzes up a little bit. It sells probably in that 5.5 range. It still has control to it. So if you like to throw blockers, you can definitely do that with this. In fact, you watch here, I threw quite a few blockers with this bag when I was out there throwing them because I love this material for throwing blockers because it's very easy to push and collect, especially on the slow side. And the material is very hole friendly. So you have a ton of control, but it's still extremely hole friendly. It does pretty much everything you want it to do, right? And it plays great in all conditions. If you live in an area where conditions change, humidity kind of kicks up, you play in all-day events or tournaments, and weather conditions change for the tournament, or you play it in tournaments where boards are very greatly from board to board and you've got to change bags. A material like the slow side really stays fairly consistent, plays about that 5.5 for all conditions. So 5.5 on the slow side. Fast side, this is the same material that Fly uses on the Surge X I reviewed. It's the same fast side that B3 uses on the Fatal, the Coyote, the Ranger, Cornhole Coaster uses the Icon, the Fear, the Creature. It's the same fast side on the Big Mac bags, whatever. It's becoming one of the more popular fast side materials. It's similar, but not quite the same as that Viper Pro Sniper fast side. I actually like the material a little bit better. It still plays a 9 speed, so it has enough speed for pushing and collecting, blockers you throw on the board, blowing up piles, cleaning up messes, slides the board again in condition, but it just has a better feel to it. It's a touch softer feel than that Pro Sniper Viper fast side material. I just like the way it plays. I like the way it feels better than that. We're looking at about a 5.5, 9 speed for these Ravens here. Template wise, it's a medium template bag, pretty much that standard ACL template. It's a medium amount of fill in here, so you have some flop. It is not overly floppy. I will send a flop. These two materials do have some stretch to them. So when you first get them, they feel a little fuller on these bags, but as you break them in, as you throw them, they start to loosen up some. These are probably not fully broken yet. They've got a little bit more breaking into. They're at a point where I would have no problem going playing a tournament or a game, whatever, with them playing competitively. They're at that point. They probably break a little more, so you may get a little more flop on these, but I'm going to call them a medium amount of flop. Right? It doesn't get that real loose, sloppy floppy that you get with some of the bigger, looser, thinner Viper R style bags out there. I really like the template. I like the amount of fill because it gives the bag a nice hand feel. You still have enough fill that I can grab this bag, lock it down, and I have complete control on it. But it's got enough flop to it that you get that forgiveness. So on the landing, very forgiving. If you don't throw flat, this bag has very little kick to it. A little bit of kick, not a lot, so you don't have to worry about the bag really being uncontrollable. It also has enough flop that if you're up there around the hole and you're missing your landing zone, you can get that corner to dip in, grab the hole, it'll pull the bag back. And you'll see here several times I kind of miss off the side. The bag grabs, it spins and brings it back in, or if it sits there, very collectible with your next bag. So the bags are very hole friendly both sides, and they're very forgiving around the hole and on the landing. The fill in these Ravens is a mixed fill. I really like the fill, like the way it plays. It's a good variety. There's some flat disc in here. I think there's some possibly flat fill, maybe some round beads. You get some kind of weird shaped beads in here. I don't know if they're supposed to be flat or supposed to be round. Sometimes fill can be a little off because the companies that manufacture the fill aren't super consistent with the fill. Sometimes you get a little bit of variations in them that maybe they're supposed to be round, but not quite. But it's a mixed fill, and I love the way, if you watch my reviews, you know I love mixed fills because you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? You get the forgiveness, the landing of that flat disc fill. You don't have a lot of bounce and action, but you get the whole friendliness of that bead fill around the hole. So I love the fill that Fly's put in this bag. It just plays phenomenal. These Ravens are also ACL stamped, so if you play in the ACL, you can throw these. Let's go and jump in and dive deeper into the playability of these Ravens. And it's a versatile bag, right? You can get up there, you can run bags in the hole, which to me, I think that's where it shines better. If I'm pulling this bag out, I'm pulling out because I want to run bags in the hole. To me, this is that perfect speed for me to throw my normal throw and bags will fly up and just drip in the hole. Not fearful of that bag flying out the bag, so I have complete control over it. I love throwing this material. So for me, I'm running bags in the hole with this. But if you want to get up there and play a dirty style game, or maybe you get boards that are a little stickier, a little slower, you can play a control style game. You've got the ability to throw blockers up there where you want on the board, level 1, 2, 3. You can get more aggressive and throw that bag more on your opponent's side because you have the ability fast side to come down and you're just clipping a corner. Because they're not super floppy, they don't accordion up, you can grab a corner, push the bag in. If you need to, you can throw a cut, go across, grab the bag, and pull it back in. You've got the ability for shot shapes, cuts, rolls, flops. You can do that with this bag. Probably not the easiest bag to learn on because you got a lot of forgiveness here, but average to advance in the shot shaping skills, you can definitely do it. I had no problem throwing my cuts with it. And I kind of got aggressive at times with the cuts going after bags. So you can definitely do this. So you've got the shot shaping ability there. You've got the versatility to run bags in the hole or play a dirty style game. It gives you a ton of options. And if you watch my reviews, I love bags that give options. I tell you all the time, I want a bag that gives me options because when I get up on the board sometimes, maybe I'm running bags and my opponent is just doing a better job than I am. And you know what? I need to change things up. I can take this bag and start throwing blockers, playing dirty style game. Maybe I get up there and realize, hey, my opponent's really missing their airmails. I want to put blocker after blocker after blocker and make them continue to shoot the airmail because they're struggling with it. Maybe they're hitting their airmails and I don't want to throw blockers. So I want to get up and start running bags to take away that airmail side of them. It just gives you the versatility that as the game progresses, you can adapt to all the different changes and you have the ability to play whatever you need to with this bag. If you're playing an opponent who plays a dirty style game, and they're throwing blockers up there, you've got the shot shaping ability, the cuts, rolls, flops to get around their bag. You've got the ability to step out and bully their bag out of the way and take whole control, put your bag in. So again, it really fits every style of play that's out there. That's why I think 95% of the people are going to love this new version of the Raven over the old one. So if you've thrown the old Raven, if you threw these original ones, and even if you liked them or didn't like them, I would recommend checking these new ones out. I do think for playability, versatility, this new Raven really does it does it all. It fits a lot of play styles. I think you're going to love it. It's a great bag for blind draws because if you get up there and you get a partner who plays a different style game than you can both play your style game with this. So I really don't have anything negative to say about this Ravens. I love what Fly's done with this. That leads me into availability, and Fly has a website, flycornhole.com. As always, I'll put a link down in the description for you guys. The bags were $100 for a set. I think that's a pretty consistent price for Fly, pretty much $100 for a set. It was $10.95 shipping, so $110.95 or $111 shipped to you. That's kind of for an ACL stamp bag. It's still in that mid-price range for you. It's at the upper end of the mid-price point, but still in that mid-price point. I have no problem paying up for good quality bags. I have reviewed a lot of Fly bags, and I really like them all. I have no issues with Fly. I've never found a problem with them. They make high quality bags. I highly recommend them. And then even at that price point, I have no problem paying that. You're going to get great bags. You're going to get great playability. So if this sounds like a bag you're looking for, or a material combination you're looking for, you want to try them out. Maybe you've thrown some of the other Fly bags. Maybe you threw the original Raven and it wasn't quite what you wanted. I think if you give these new ones a try, I think you're going to fall in love with them as much as I have. If you've thrown these Ravens, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I always love hearing your guys' opinions. As always, I thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.